in front of me pieces because it sort of blew apart as soon as it came into my hands. But things, I hope all these things, I hope I'm not misremembering, but these are things that came with the September kit of Christie's, and this paper is rockin' awesome. There are just so many cool, interesting papers in here, and some great stickers and all this kind of stuff. So what I have done is, I've already like chopped up just big chunks of it because you know me, I just go for it. But so what we've talked about just briefly, I brought this up on in our Facebook group, end of summer kind of stuff, like harvesty, and looking over some of these. I mean, there's just all kinds of interesting possibilities. We've got, you know, flowers and bees and butterflies, that kind of thing. We've got some great tags that look like they would be used on jars or bottles. These are just some things that I've jotted down. And so I actually made a note to myself on the back because I lots of times forget what I was going to use it for. Oh, anyway, lots of just really interesting kinds of textures, or not textures, but patterns and stuff that would lend themselves to kind of harvesty things. You know, berries. Look how cute this would be if you know, if we did a thing on canning jars or jelly or whatever. Look how cute that would be for like a canning jar. So obviously it wouldn't look exactly like, you know, a jar of cherries or grapes or whatever, because it's kind of like who knows what, but it's darling, cute idea. So what I usually do, you guys already know this, is I grab out some paper. First idea is not completely original because I sort of saw something like this in the paper, what's it called? Paper Source Catalog Paper. Is that the name of it? Anyway, it's a great little catalog that comes out online too, but it had these shelves out like this. Let me make sure that I can get you in there. So this would be, you know, the middle of our art journal here. So it had these shelves, and then it had these canning jars all lined up, side to side, da 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 da. And I do know how to can. I've canned a ton of stuff. Some years I love it, some years I do not love it, or do not have time for it. This year I just do not have time for it. And thankfully my trees did not produce very much, so I did not feel all that guilty this year. So awesome. But regardless if you like to can or not, something about just having those canning jars in a pantry is just so sweet, isn't it? I mean, you have to agree with me on that. So anyway, we could do some, you know, have all these be jars. They wouldn't have to necessarily be exactly the same. You could do, you know, smaller ones on the top shelf. You could do the smaller ones in the middle, whatever. If you wanted to do like jam jars, if you wanted to make them all different colors, you know, for different things. We could use all of our papers, like every single paper. So my original thought, and what we might still go with in the end, because I've already cut it out, is to just cut out just tons of shapes, you know, this canning jar kind of shape, and kind of line them up here on the shelf. See what I'm talking about? Now, you know, this doesn't necessarily maybe look like food right here, but I still think it gives you the idea of it. Are you going with me on that? And then what we have is some gray paper. You know, obviously these kind of things you can paint on as well, but I just love the paper piecing and then the paint. I just think it just adds a lot. So I was thinking like doing some that were larger and then maybe some that were smaller. And we could use some big strips of paper, not cut, you know, super straight, just to make it look like an old shelf or an old lined shelf. And then depending on your background, you know, if you did a dark background, you could do these in white, which would be really interesting. I was sort of thinking like chocolatey kind of background, and then having, you know, all these colors kind of, you know, pop. I thought would be really, really cute. So that is kind of where we're going today, is with this delightful idea. However, let's give you one more for the road so that you can pick and choose what you would like to do. There was another great idea in our Facebook little conversation about doing something having to do with vino, with making wine, which would be gorgeous too. The papers that I have already all of these really interesting. Oh, where is it? I want to show you the whole page. Let me grab it. Let me grab it. Where is it? Oh, obviously it's hiding. Here we go. Okay, here's most of the page. So it's got like all of this kind of stuff. And I thought, wow, that would make some really, really interesting wine bottles. So I cut a couple out just because I thought that I would try to see what I thought. Obviously this isn't a wine bottle shape yet, but I didn't want to cut it down yet because I didn't know how big I wanted it. You know what I mean? And I thought, man, I should wait and like do the grapevines and do, you know, the barrels, and then do, you know, grapes falling and like wine colored paint like dripping. I mean, I got like way over romantic about the whole thing. Over romantic about the whole thing. So I'm gonna set that one aside because I really think that that would be a fun one to come back to. So it's on my list, but since I cut these down to this shape or to this size, I thought another option for canning jars would be to, here, let me see what we can do here. Let's take this off. Uno momento. Take this off. And we can, let's flip it over. What if we just took, instead of canning jars that are small, you could take ones that are larger. I mean, close to the same. Obviously, these would be much taller than the other ones. Wider, whatever. Kind of round the edges right here. We could still put the toppers on them. Look at how some of these papers look like they're already like made for toppers to canning jars. Isn't that fun? So, let's see, let's just cut out just a bit of this paper. And so we could totally just use this kind of paper for the top. Just randomly. I mean, obviously they kind of all have like a weird stylized design on it, but I love it. I think it looks really cool that way. Let's mix up the color a bit. We've got some, what have we got going here? Oh, I keep losing my paper. All right, so let's actually pick something that is darker. So maybe this guy right here. Whoops, I think maybe I cut him too skinny, but that's okay. Maybe we'll do a, let's do one that's just a little bit shorter since we cut them skinnier. Oh, so that's not bad. That's close. That's really close. Okay, so let's kind of break up this. So anyway, if you did something like this, the thing that kept coming to me over and over again is the fruits of the Spirit, which I just love. It's in Galatians. All right, so I just finished, I put on some brown paint. All I did was I just squirted on, you know, some cream and some brown, and then I didn't even mix it. I just kind of just spread it around because I wanted it to be kind of wood grainy. It sort of looks that way. And then let that dry briefly, and then I just Mod Podged on our cute jars. All I did was just cut out one jar out of each paper, and then the papers in here, look how fun. This is like totally lends itself to doing the tops of these jars. So I just cut out, you know, stuff from there, and I've got some stuff from this page. I mean, look how cute, like all these just strips of stuff would be. So I just quickly just cut them out. I didn't put much effort into, you know, like these two are matching, whatever, and you know, this one is a little bit too thick. It doesn't matter. Like the randomness of it, and it's like not coordinated. I just think it's super cute that way. So now the decoupage that I used is super thick and it's not drying very well. So if you see these pockets of white, that's just where it's just gonna have to spend some extra time drying. I hurried and put a dryer on it, but it obviously is way too thick. That means that I have to go open a different bottle. It's just way, way, way too thick. So what I'm thinking now is let's kind of texture up the page a little bit and add some just some, you know, speckles, paint, you know, speckles and speckles, and, you know, just stuff to make it kind of be more textury and off the page and stuff. And then we'll add, you know, whatever we want to it. You guys can add whatever you want. They have, this kit actually already comes with tons of darling word strips right here, which lend themselves to all kinds of stuff. So funny, goodbye, I love you, big dreams, whatever. There's a couple that say remember when, which would be really a fun thing to put on here. If you remember this from like your grandma's house or something, or yeah, remember when I had time to can and do stuff like that? You could do something like that if you wanted to. Remember when? So that is kind of where we're going with this. Alrighty. So let's get out. So here's our paints that we've got set out. Let's grab some texture. Let me grab my whole texture kit here. All my fun stuff. And also let's grab out our let's try this one. It's just a painted punchinella already that Christy's done, one of these Unity stamps. And it's darling. So let's try this one. I'm excited. I'm always excited to try these new Christy stamps. I think they're darling. Okay, so we're gonna just go at it here with a bit of black ink. You should probably always do it on another page first to see how dark it's going to be, but because I seriously in this book do not care, we just go for it with this book, I am just fine just putting it on. So it kind of looks like maybe dirty fingerprints, or like maybe you need to go clean off the shelf, which is totally cute and fun. I love it. So you don't have to mess up your page if you don't want to. I always like it. I'm gonna grab out my white paint, and being me, of course, I'm gonna use my fingers, but I'm just gonna go over a couple places that I feel like would be cute to use some white paint. So I'll probably go over the top, maybe make some, you know, lines on some of these shelves. Maybe go over a couple of the jars that are really bright. Don't have to, but I like it. And anytime you add white, it's going to brighten up the page. So, okay, just even that much looks really, really cute. All right, and then let's add, with our texture, let's grab out our super tiny punchinella or something else that you want to use. If you've got some, actually this would be really cute. Let's do that. Let's put on some red paint carefully on our bubble wrap here. It's already red because the other part's already dried, but, and carefully, sometimes you can go overboard on red. Gotta be a little bit careful. So we're gonna scrunch it up a tiny bit like this so we don't get too much going at the same time. And we'll just add, I like to just do it on top of what would already be sort of that color. And then maybe just a hint of it in different places. And we can add some of that textury stuff that's already dry, which is my favorite. Throw that down there. Okay, I'm gonna have to use different finger for each color. Oh, Okay, you can also just use the lid here. I'll just get a little bit in the lid and I have a little bit more control. All right, now I'll just sunny up some of this stuff. It's already really bright, but a little bit of paint never hurt it. Oops. I'm gonna have orange here in a minute if I start mixing my fingers. I'll just do the whole thing right here. That looks cute. So we've got 3 going. And we'll just run some yellow around the edges. Cute. And what else did we pick out? Oh, the pink. I do like pink. I really do. I like pink. Okay. And add a bit of pink. Probably I'm guilty of adding too much pink sometimes. I just really like it. Okay, let's add to this guy because he just is kind of just too color down here. And maybe this guy a little bit. Okay, good. Good to go. So really what you could do is just do your bubble wrap. Do some punchinella to get your color down there. It looks really good, especially if you've kind of gone over it and it kind of just looks weird, like maybe where you've placed some of your paint, which is totally fine, but you can also just take your punchinella and hit it.